Is Shanks the strongest in One Piece? Now, I know what you're probably thinking, yo, Mac, what are you doing with this video? Don't tell me you're a Shanks tard, because this is a huge thing. When people say Shanks is the strongest in One Piece, they're known as Shanks tards. I've been in the community for years. I've seen this in many comment sections. Now, I'll tell you guys right now, most One Piece fans love Shanks. He's a badass character. He's been there since the beginning. What is there not to like about Shanks? And then there's some fans who think he's very overrated, and he's not that strong when it comes to saying he's the strongest. He's actually some people say he's the weakest Yonko. There's huge debates in the One Piece community. Now, the people who say he's the weakest Yonko are definitely a minority. The people who love Shanks are the majority. But I do want to discuss Shanks' power. And today I thought, let me entertain a spooky question. Yes, a very spooky question. Former Roger Pirate, former Pirate King crew member, and the current Yonko Shanks, yes, one of the 4 emperors of the New World. Is he the strongest in the entire One Piece series? I think one of the most famous things when it comes to Shanks and his character is his Conqueror's Haki. When we first saw his Conqueror's Haki, it was amazing. Let's be honest here. We seen it in the beginning when he scared the Sea King off, but when he actually met Whitebeard and went on another Yonko's crew, another crazy strong pirate's crew, the man known as the strongest man in the entire world, yes, Shirohige, he walked on his ship, the Moby Dick, and he turned on his Haki, and all of them were dropping like flies. But that was not really the most impressive thing that I've seen when I saw Shanks' Conqueror's Haki. The most impressive thing was he actually broke and damaged the Moby Dick. You saw little cracks in the Moby Dick. So his Conqueror's Haki was so amazing that it was hurting physical objects. That just makes me go, oh my goodness, this guy is on a whole nother level, and I haven't seen another Conqueror's Haki do that. So Shanks, yeah, he definitely put himself in a very special category. Now, I think we got to talk about this huge clash of I think these guys are probably the top tier when it comes to One Piece story. A lot of people say that both these guys are the strongest characters in One Piece at that time. Now, I'm talking about Shanks and Whitebeard. Yes, there's an opinion that Whitebeard is the strongest character in One Piece before he died, and there's an opinion that Shanks is the strongest character. And their clash was so intriguing and so interesting, because when you look back at their clash, first of all, it was a Conqueror's Haki clash. Yes, a lot of people did not really realize this at the time, but looking back at it, you see the clouds splitting, their Conqueror's Haki clashing. We know, I think it was Marco or one of the Yonko crew members that mentioned that Whitebeard did have Conqueror's Haki, and we know Don Chinjo also mentioned that if you want to be the Pirate King, you have to have Conqueror's Haki, yo. If you want to be a king of kings, the Pirate King. Now, I definitely feel like the most impressive thing I saw out of that was, first of all, Whitebeard. Oh, yo, Whitebeard, yo, this is a prime Shanks, and Whitebeard is doing his work, so I gotta give some respect to Whitebeard. But the most impressive thing was Shanks. He has one arm, and he's actually equaling out in a clash of weapons with the strongest man who used 2 hands. He used 2 of his arm power to go and hit that clash, and Shanks was still able to hold it back. That gives me a lot of respect for Shanks' one-arm ability, and I think it's a very cool moment. Now, I think I must discuss this. Now, I'm not gonna say I have to discuss it, but I must discuss it. The Shanks and Kaido controversy. If you guys did not know, there was huge panic amongst the Marines. Shanks and one of the Yonkos actually went and intercepted Kaido. What was Kaido doing? Kaido was attempting to go fight Whitebeard. You're probably thinking, why was Kaido trying to fight Whitebeard? Well, we actually got the answer later on in the series. Kaido is a guy who wants to die, and let's be honest here. When Whitebeard died, Kaido was like, oh my gosh, Whitebeard died. He was kind of jealous of Whitebeard, the fact that he died. And I think that Kaido was actually going to fight Whitebeard because Whitebeard is one of the closest characters to actually make him die. So he had that respect for Whitebeard, and if he knew that Whitebeard was about to go in there and probably risk his life. So Kaido was like, let me go for one more clash with the man known as Whitebeard. But I have to talk about the controversy. Shanks stopping Kaido. Did Shanks physically stop Kaido, the strongest creature alive? And a majority of people in the One Piece community say he's the strongest character, not Shanks. Did Shanks actually stop him? Now, me personally, I think that these two did not fight. The fact that Shanks went all the way to Marineford in that quick of a time, I do not think that Kaido and Shanks fought. I think there might have been a clash. It would be very interesting if we get a flashback, but I think there's gonna be a moment when Kaido and Luffy are fighting. There's gonna be a flashback to this moment of Shanks and Kaido and Shanks are gonna have some sort of discussion and miss their clash, and that discussion is gonna end their clash. And I want to know what the discussion was. Who knows? My theory is that Shanks is telling telling Kaido that there's another crazy character who's gonna come up in the new world and make a big name for himself, and he's gonna be the one to actually make you lose your life. Maybe Shanks told him about Monkey D. Luffy, yo, because we know Shanks ran to Rayleigh when he saw Luffy, and what he said, like the same thing that Roger said. So who knows? That would be crazy, and I think that would be very epic foreshadowing for an amazing ending to the Kaido War. Now, I think one of the most underrated moments is when Shanks actually stopped the war. And you probably think, oh, well, that's not underrated. Everybody mentions Shanks stopped the Marineford War. Everybody hypes that up. Well, not actually the exact moment of stopping the war. I'm talking when he actually stopped Akainu, the Red Dog Sakazuki. And I had to give him some respect because, let's be honest, a lot of the Yonko commanders that are going against Akainu, they weren't really putting up much of a fight. And this is Akainu after getting his ass whooped by Whitebeard. I think Marco is the only one I can give some respect for in the situation with Akainu, and Whitebeard actually did beat up Akainu, and that whole fight is a controversial fight that I'll discuss later on. Well, actually, I already did discuss my couple last videos, go check it out. But Shanks stopping Akainu, his armor and haki strong enough to stop a Logia Delphi ability of Akainu, and his haki of Akainu, it just shows me some crazy stuff because we know Marco and Vista tried and they couldn't do it. So the fact that Shanks did it so casually and so easily, I gotta give him respect for that, though Akainu was kind of drained and injured, and he saw blood on him, and his manga fist was not really for a top tier character, it was just for Kobe. But I still gotta give some respect to Shanks for actually stopping Akainu. He's one of the few characters who actually did stop the Red Dog. Blackbeard at the Marineford War. Oh my goodness, did he make a name for himself going there, telling him that I do not want to be a warlord, getting Whitebeard's fruit, and just pretty much causing havoc. He was doing some crazy stuff with the fruit. He almost destroyed Marineford. He was the one who actually gave the finishing blow to Whitebeard, ending his era. Blackbeard, yes, he definitely made a name for himself, but I think one of the most interesting things is Blackbeard going off, fighting with Sengoku, going off and making crazy stuff havoc. But when Shanks arrives, Shanks says, and Blackbeard, if you want to fight, we'll be your opponents. And Blackbeard's like, oh yeah, we're not ready for you guys just yet. Now, we definitely don't understand that Blackbeard, he just got the Gurgur no Mi. He definitely wasn't Yonko level at Marineford. That's my personal opinion. I feel like he became Yonko level during the time skip, probably when he defeated Marco, and that's when he got recognized. That was the moment in which he was known as the Yonko. But at that time, Shanks would have beaten Blackbeard, and I think we all can understand that. And Blackbeard said, I'm not ready, and it's foreshadowing for a future battle, which I believe is going to happen between Blackbeard and Shanks, a battle to the death, and it's going to be epic. But I do want to say this, that's a lot of respect to. Shanks came in there and Blackbeard was like, no, no, no. In a 1v1 battle, always bet on Kaido. Oh my goodness, yo. Said to be the strongest creature alive. Now, a lot of people have been debating this. I personally feel like that's people observing that Kaido is the strongest creature alive. And Oda himself actually did mention that Kaido is the strongest creature alive. So a lot of evidence showing that Kaido is the strongest character in One Piece. And in that same episode and chapter, they give him tons of durability feats. They try to hang him, they try to skewer him, they try to guillotine him. It all broke because he was too durable. Now, it does have to do with arm and haki. Nobody knows yet. But Kaido cannot die, and he's known as the strongest creature alive. But that's an interesting question. Since Kaido is said to be the strongest creature, what about Shanks? A lot of people are like, Shanks is the strongest character. And once we saw this moment, a lot of people jump ship to Kaido. Does that mean that Shanks is under Kaido from this? I'll tell you guys at the end of the video, because I do have a crazy interesting thought when it comes to Kaido as a character and Shanks, and I'll bring it down at the end of the video. But right now, let's move on. I want to look back at Shanks and his history. Yes, I will look back at Shanks and his history, and he was a former Pirate King crew member, and I think that's a lot of respect to. He was on the crew of Gold D. Roger, a legendary crew, and the fact that his history comes from there, I gotta give some respect. Now, we do know Buggy was also from that Pirate King crew, but like Whitebeard said, there was always one guy in the crew who is like a lame-o, who's not that strong. We know on the Straw Hat Pirate who was that guy, but I do have some hope for my boy Usopp. He's gonna make a name for himself. He's gonna be crazy powerful at the end of the story. That's how I personally believe. But yeah, his history, he's from Goldie Roger's actual crew. He's chilling with Roger, Rayleigh, Scarper, Gabon. He definitely learned a thing or two, and I personally personal opinion. And we know that Shanks, yes, there's a huge hindrance to his character, the fact that he was scarred by Blackbeard at a young age. Now, I think I hear this all the time. Blackbeard did a dirty move. Blackbeard caught him off guard. Blackbeard came out of nowhere and cheated his way to scar Shanks. Shanks from his own mouth said he was on guard. But Shanks came to Whitebeard and mentioned this because he wanted Whitebeard to respect Marshall D. Teague. So why is all these fans saying that Blackbeard did it in some scummy way when Shanks himself, the guy who got scarred, said he didn't? Do I trust you guys who are the fans, or do I trust Shanks, his words? I'm gonna trust Shanks on this. Red Hair Pirate, he has my respect from even chapter 1 in his days with Luffy. I gotta give him respect, and I believe that Shanks was on guard. So there was something interesting in that flashback. And I think one of the most important things I gotta mention today is Shanks versus Mihawk back in the day. These guys had daily duels, and we know Mihawk is the man who's the greatest swordsman in the entire world. We know Shanks is one of the Yonko. There have been many debates. I even made a video myself on Shanks and Mihawk. I said it already, I believe that Shanks is stronger than Mihawk, but Mihawk is the greater swordsman, and that's a very controversial topic. A lot of people think that Mihawk is stronger than Shanks. A lot of people that think that Shanks is way above Mihawk. Huge debates on that, but I personally believe that Shanks is above Mihawk. They fought a while ago, 10 years ago, around who knows, maybe 15 years ago. We do not know when they actually fought, and we know Mihawk said he does not want to fight a one-armed man, because Mihawk knows if he beats Shanks in a battle, everyone's going to say because Shanks had one arm. You couldn't beat him when he had two arms. But if he loses to Shanks, you lost to a man with one arm. So Mihawk knows there's no point of fighting Shanks. It's a lose-lose situation, though I do think that Shanks is above Mihawk and he would beat him with one arm. Yeah. And you're probably thinking, why do I say Shanks, Red Hair Pirate Shanks, Red Hair Yonko, with losing one of his strong arm? Now, not just his left arm or his arm he doesn't use, his actual main arm, he lost to the Sea King, and a lot of people actually use this to go against Shanks, but I do want to say that Oda's editor actually forced Oda to make this happen because he wanted some dramatic, something crazy. But I do want to tell you guys this. In an interview, the man who made One Piece, Oda, said that Shanks did not lose any power from losing his arm. Now, from that whole sentence, I believe that the reason why I said this is because Shanks lost his arm and he had multiple years to get adjusted. If you can adjust to your arm being lost after years, then you can actually be equal to what you were before, and maybe even stronger. That's why I see it as, if Shanks lost his arm and then he was going to fight someone else, he would definitely be weaker. But the fact that he had time to get used to it, I think that was the most valuable thing and made Shanks equal to his same power and maybe even stronger from rising up and getting new abilities. Yes, yes, yes. Now you're probably thinking, what do I believe when it comes to Shanks? Do I think that Shanks is the strongest Yonko in the... I'm not the strongest Yonko, the strongest character in the One Piece story. Yeah, that's why I almost went on the Yonko's actual character when it comes to all characters of the One Piece story. I personally believe that I have to talk about this. I believe all the Yonko are relatively close in strength and maybe even equal. So it makes you think, okay, he thinks all the Yonko are equal, relatively close in strength. They're not going to be a one-up when it comes to Yonko. Though actually, I do think that Yonkos are separate in strength. Just because they're equal doesn't mean they're all equal when it comes to their power, if you understand what that means. They're in the same level, but there's some characters that are above them in the actual same level. So here's my thought on the subject at hand. Kaido is the strongest creature alive. We cannot go against this. Physically, he is the strongest alive. That's how I see it. So Kaido, for me personally, is the strongest character in One Piece physically. But when it comes to powerful, we know One Piece has different abilities, different powers. You have to use different crazy hacked abilities. We've seen multiple abilities that are crazy that doesn't have to relatively talk about strength. So yes, when it comes to ability wise, hockey wise, I think Shanks is the most powerful character in One Piece. I think there's some characters who are close to him, like Monkey D. Dragon, Blackbeard, Kaido, Akainu, Mihawk, Big Mom. These characters could be close to him and could be even above him. Who knows? But my personal opinion, I think that Shanks is the most powerful character in One Piece. Yes, it's very crazy because I said he's not the strongest, but the most powerful, because we know the Delph Fruit abilities or the hockey, it is not all about physical strength. So Kaido, I think, is the strongest character. Shanks, the most powerful. That's just my opinion on the subject. And tell me your thoughts in the comment section, because I know you guys have strong opinions when it comes to strength and how strong, because I know you guys love these kind of videos. So tell me your thoughts, yo. Is Shanks the strongest in One Piece? Is he the most powerful, or is he not any of those? Like and share if you enjoy, like and share only if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more One Piece content. I'm the Legend Mac, and I'm gone.